Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I am community and culture, and this is the space where we do growth and not gossip. Thank you for joining me this morning. If you would like to join the panel, please hit the link for the StreamYard. And if you'd like to support the show, you can donate to the platform via Cash App. So, first of all, I would like to say marvelous Monday and good morning. If you are catching this as a part of the replay, thank you for deciding to spend a little bit of your day with me. This is going to be a little bit of a longer stream because, as you can see, I have some people I want to discuss. So, I'm going to go ahead on and get started for this morning so we can get into all the machinations that have happened over the last few hours. So let's take a look. First of all, we are on our road to 1,000 subscribers. So thank you to all my content creator friends. Some of them I will be featuring in today's show. So thank you. Granny's always watching over me. So we are taking care of business this morning. Now, if you remember this live that I did recently, I warned y'all that there was some foolishness getting ready to come down the pipe. And sure enough, that is exactly what happened. So let's get into the news from the weekend. If you have not seen the news,
debate performance, I've really just facilitated the.
If you have not seen or heard the news, Joe Biden has decided to step down from the presidential race. He will complete his term. So he has decided to officially be a one-term president. And although I do have some feelings about that, I do appreciate some of the legislative accomplishments that he had as both a senator and during his time as the head of the Biden-Harris administration. I really have more concern about what has been going on over the last 3 weeks. What has been happening over the last 3 weeks is not a plan, it is a play. A plan has detailed steps. A plan has clarity. A play can be drama, it can be funny, it can be pointless, it can be for pure entertainment. And this, what the corporate media has been doing over the last 3 weeks, can only be described as a play. So we're going to feature a few of our favorite creators from across the web today. Fair use, of course. All content that is presented today is for educational purposes only. So let's get started as to why I think this is a play. I think Zerlina Maxwell does a good job summing this up for us. So we're going to start with her. They can't.
So on my SiriusXM radio show, I talk to voters all over the country, Democratic voters all over the country every single day. And since Biden's poor debate performance, I've really just facilitated the discussion about whether or not he should stay in or drop out of the race. I haven't really taken a position on whether Biden should stay in or drop out. I've just facilitated the discussion, listening to callers all around the country, a majority of which he should stay in, by the way. I feel like it's important at this particular moment for the folks out there who are saying that Biden should step aside. Say who you want to replace him. And if you are not willing to say that Vice President Kamala Harris should be at the top of the ticket if you want Biden to drop out, sit all the way down. You obviously do not understand how math works or who the base of the Democratic Party is. And so today on my show, I went a little bit further. Now, I said something with my whole chest, unequivocally. If the Democratic Party pushes Biden out of the race and does not say that Kamala Harris is the obvious choice as vice president to be at the top of the ticket to replace Biden, they should quit politics forever. They obviously do not understand that Black people, Black women in particular, are the base of the Democratic Party. So you think you can win without your base coalition turning out in high numbers the way
funny. Keep going, Zelina.
You did in 2020? Think again.
So before we get to our friend Joy.
Well, good luck getting my sisters to play without me. Well, good luck getting my sisters to play without me. Well, good luck getting my...
Exactly. Good luck getting the girlies to come out. because it ain't happening. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you so much, Melanie. Thank you so much, Lewis, for joining us this morning. So before we get to what Joy and Reed has to say as a reflection of the corporate media, let's take a look at these election 2020 numbers. Let's see who voted for what. Because I never want anybody to leave the space without actually being able to see what is going on. All right, so here we go. By the numbers, popular vote. Scroll it back up. So this is the 2020 electoral map distribution. These are which states went for which person, and this would ultimately give Joe Biden the win he needed. And when I spend a lot of time in the rest of this video talking about the fact that it's the Billionaires Boys Club and their millionaire boys toys having angst over flyover country, I want you to look at this red band that runs through the middle of America. What has happened to Joe Biden over the last 3 weeks has everything to do with this red band that runs through America. If you look at the presidential race by popular vote differential, these differentials where the Republicans won handing away. But if you look at the South, the margins are not that big, especially in places like Florida, Alabama, Louisiana, even Texas. The differential was 6 points roughly. So when I tell you that I focus here on the South, politics in the South, that is a direct result that 56% of all Black Americans live in the South. So these are the election results by popular vote. That's how it shook out for Biden. Dark blue means he had more 50%. And that is what the popular vote looks like for Donald Trump. So what do all these numbers mean? Well, let's make a little sense of these numbers right quick. The numbers behind Biden's 2020 victory. This comes to us from Pew Research. The 2020 presidential election was historic in many ways. Now, granted, there is always a caveat. This is kind of like putting Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame. There's always going to be an asterisk next to his name. But we do want to look at voters that who voted in 2018, but not 2016, favored Biden in 2020. Overall, 1 in 4 2020 voters had not voted in 20. That means there was a huge increase in the overall turnout for the election. That means we brought in a whole bunch of new people. Would that have anything to do with the fact that while Ronald Reagan was running amok, we made sure that everybody could cast their vote at that time in the easiest way humanly possible? And the minute that worked out for everybody, they stopped. Says both Biden and Trump were able to bring new voters into the political process in 2020. The 19% of voters who did not vote in 2016 or 18 split roughly between the two candidates. But here's where it gets nitty and gritty. Biden made significant gains with suburban voters. That's the other part of flyover country that everybody's worried about. Trump made significant gain with Hispanic voters. That is where demographics is destiny falls apart. This is one of the things that is driving the angst of flyover country. But yet, that hasn't happened. Apart from a small shift among Hispanic voters, Biden's electoral coalition looked much like Hillary Clinton's, with Black, Hispanic, and Asian voters and those of other races casting 4 in 10 votes. Biden made some gains with men, while Trump improved among women, narrowing the gender gap. Well, I can tell you that the 5 blind men on the Supreme Court have done everything they can to erase any of those gains. And Biden improved over Clinton with non-college educated voters. So let's go back to that map of flyover country. See the differentials throughout the country? Places like Idaho, Wyoming at 2040. Those places feel like lost causes. Iowa doesn't at 8. I promise you, they looking at Texas and calling all red. That don't look like much of a differential at 6. Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama have some of the worst voter suppression, and so does North Carolina, but you're still only losing by 13. Like, part of the reason why these numbers are the way they are is because we have a bunch of billionaires that are playing in our elections on both sides. Mama Linda, good morning. Thank you, thank you, thank you. She is the greatest mod in the business. Good morning to Critical Smoker. Thank you for joining me. This lady here is one of the hardest working mods in the business. She is always out here supporting the creators, making sure that our spaces are wonderfully executed. So I am very, very thankful to have her here this morning, and to everybody who decided to stop by. Thank you so very much. So that is what is driving everything that we're seeing. So that is why when I said this is a play and not a plan, the chaos is literally being orchestrated by the roughly 1,500 billionaires. So let's meet the billionaire class. Let Joy Reid explain to you why the foolishness that you are about to see, the performativeness, the playness of it all being directed by corporate media.
This man always crying. What is happening?
Even people who are pushing for this to happen, it's kind of like when your grandpa, you got to take the keys, and everybody, you got to take his keys, you got to take his keys, you got to, and he's fighting, and everybody's so frustrated, and then you finally get the keys back, and then you just cry, because this is somebody that you love, this is somebody that you care about, this is somebody who was there for you, this is somebody you wouldn't be here without him.
Performative, that man is putting 100 on 10.
And you have to take something from him. Now,
no.
This is not, look, politics is politics, but this is a human moment for one of the great humans in America. This is a huge moment for him, for his family, for all of us who love him, for all of us who wanted him to get across the finish line. But if you're a young person watching this, this is leadership. This is patriotism. This is what it means to put the country first and put the party first and put...
That man who's currently residing at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue did not have a choice, and we're about to see why as soon as this video is over.
The cost first. When your arm gets tired, you let somebody else finish pitching the game. That's what Joe Biden has done, and he's done that for all of us. And so I just want to say, I don't know who's going to be the VP, the non-VP. I don't know anything about politics. I just know that I love this man. I care about this man. It was painful every day to sit up here and talk about him like he's just a, some problem for the party. Wait till we get to the convention. You're going to see people crying, standing, screaming, cheering. He may not get a chance to talk for 10 minutes. We finally get a chance to put our arm around this guy. He did the right thing for this country. He did the right thing for this party. All of us are going to be in this situation someday, and I hope that we take a moment to honor this man and to love this man. I love Joe Biden. I appreciate what he's done, and a lot of people are heartbroken today. Even if it's the right thing, it's still just horrible.
We are all Joy's face right now. So let's introduce ourselves to the people that are running the show, and why I find myself using these words way more than I probably should. Way more than I probably should. So welcome to the play, ladies and gentlemen. Let's meet the players. Up first, we have the wealthiest individuals in America. Let's meet these guys and gals. All right. We have Bezos, Gates, Anat, Buffett, Zuck, Ellison, Ballmer, Ortega, Page, and Walton. And I do want to point out that of the top 10 richest men in America, the Waltons came in last. The people that sell us the actual goods we need, from toilet paper to your Windex, they're at the bottom. Just crazy. And this is who these people are. And the richest woman, here she is. His sister. And there's Mackenzie Bezos, Jacqueline Mars, Lauren of the Jobs family. These are the people that caused Joe Biden to go home. Whatever Joe Biden was doing, he had a team to manage him. And if you've ever seen the PDF, and feel free to go and look up the PDF file of the 2016 through 2020 presidential daily schedule, and look at how much executive time. That is literally that man sitting there eating cheeseburgers and watching Fox News. But these are the players. Look how old. Some of the richest people on earth are closer to glory than my grandmother was in February. And those are the youngest. So would you know what these people tend to do with their money? I can show you. And this is why I say I don't really care which party you are or are not voting for. Here they go. The top 50 biggest donors in the side have pumped $1.1 billion into political committees and other groups just in the midterms. These people, since Citizens United failed in 2014, have spent almost $3 billion. So when I tell you that the corporate media is basically running cover for the real players, the real people putting on the play, this is who they are. There's nothing happening on any mainstream media, no matter what its tint, bent, or political spin is, that ain't happening. So let's meet these people. So here's your number one bad guy. Everybody love to hate him. Good morning, sir. And then for the next 8 people, they sure seem to look a certain way. And we're just going to let this play out. Investment company. So basically somebody who does nothing for a living, but take rich people money. Oh, well, let's just stop.
All over the country every single day. And since Biden's poor debate.
Sorry about that. Let's stop at this guy. Where is he right now? He's number 5 on the list. Where is he? Yeah, that guy. That guy who was number 5 during the midterms is now a guest of the feds. That guy right there, that was number 5 during the midterms, picks up his lunch from a prison counter. Let's look at the rest of the guys. Blackstone. Anybody seen anything that's been going on with Dollar General? Here they go. You having problems in your local area getting clean, good food, clean water? Here you go. These are the people that are causing that. Wyoming business tycoon, Larry Ellison. Here he is. Technology investor who nearly owns all of Attire Island and a major supporter of Tim Scott. Peter Thiel, who gave us J.D. Vance. It's a game. But they need the voters to be in the audience. But they are 100% in control of what is happening on the stage. And so I don't really have any feelings about Joe Biden. Whatever he has or hasn't done, or whatever decisions he has or hasn't made, I understand that the people that forced him into those decisions are these people, like Koch Industries and the Ellisons of the world. So let's go through and look at what some of your favorite content creators had to say. Now, what made me angry with one of these people, and we're going to get to this clip very quickly because I do know that I have another appointment that I need to get to. But we're going to quickly look at a piece of content from a creator who seemed to be very concerned upon yesterday about what was happening with the election. And he had a very interesting take. So I'm going to share a little bit of his content and we're going to go through it right quick. Now, what made me upset with this particular creator, I'm going to be honest with y'all, is that this man has all the time and energy and effort to do the research that he is constantly doing. Then I don't understand why he is so uninformed on purpose. But here we go. It's shocking.
What's your story? What are your policies? What do you stand for, etc. Period. It doesn't, like, see, here's the thing. And I agree with what Beautiful Messy Ball says. It's not right to suddenly be like, oh, you got this other person. There you go. And it's like, well, can we make sure that that person's
So let's just stop right here. I don't care if it's fair to her. It's not fair to Americans. They didn't vote for her in the primaries. Honey, if you did not read the fact that your ballot had both names on there, that you voted for a complete ticket, that you weren't voting for a single human being, you being a supporter of this dude is exactly how these people feel like if they can play in our face, that the billionaires can come along and pluck whoever they want off the board and do whatever they want because we don't understand the civic process. Ma'am, you did vote for her. It's goddamn stupid.
Properly vetted,
And
make
he
sure
just
that they
gassed
actually
this
stand for
stupid
all the
shit
things
up.
that we as a people, or at least on the left, want, so on and so forth. And you're telling me that now we have no choice but to vote for Kamala Harris? I got a problem with that. I'm be real. Sorry. I know somebody just said a second ago, and I'm going to see if I can pull that up, if I can find it here in a
Thank
second.
you to that person in the
Okay.
chat. God bless that human.
All right.
Which gave me the opportunity.
Somebody got very offended. And I'm telling you right now.
God bless that human in the chat, which is going to give me an opportunity to really say what I want to say about this clown.
Full of life, said Pascal, for real? I can't believe you saying this. What am I saying that's so wrong? I want to make sure whoever's running for the left or the right is something that we all agree on, that we all voted for, that we're all okay with. You're telling me that they just thrust somebody in your face, like, whoever it may be, that's okay in your book? No, I'm not cool with that. I didn't sit there and say okay to Kamala Harris. And just because we're so desperate to vote for somebody that isn't Trump, I'm not okay with them just thrusting somebody in my face saying,
this man is a whole ass clown, y'all. And I mean this in the politest, most respectful, non-respectful way, not sorry way that I possibly could. Sir, you understood that when you selected Joe Biden at 127 years old in 2020, that if he ate the wrong cheeseburger, if he coughed on the chicken bone, Kamala Harris was going to be the president of the United States of America. Every time the man went and had a colonoscopy, technically Kamala Harris was the president of the United States of America. And as an educator of 20 years, these people just say nothing but failure. These people just say nothing but, I have perfectly failed at presenting a honest and educated view to my consumers. Like, this is crazy work.
Oh, you don't want Trump? Then you're going to vote for this person. No, show me their policies. Show me who I'm voting for. Period. I'm not dumb.
Pause. I swear I need to download that drop. Pause. The Democratic platform has been available online for, I think, at least 3 to 4 months because I voted in the March primaries here in Texas. The platform is not a secret. It's a Google Doc. It's about, I think, 16 pages or something like that. It's a short read, written in standard English at about the 6th grade level. But he didn't take the time to do this whole hour and a half live stream to just put them up. He could have just put the PDFs up like, hey, guys, there's some shakeup going on. Here's the platform, because he wants to be the both sides dude. Cool. If you want to play the game, then play it at a level that isn't coloring with crayons and eating glue.
I'm not just going to vote somebody out of desperation. That's trash to me. Let's keep it real. And if that makes anybody feel some type of way, there it is. But let's be real. I need something more than just somebody who's just, it's like, vote for this cup. I mean, be real. Suddenly it's like, oh, Biden's out.
That man said with his whole chest, vote for this cup, y'all. Like, I don't even understand what the hell is going on at this point. Like, you mean to tell me you haven't studied the platforms, you haven't studied the policies, but you're going to say that the person who has been in 99.9% of the meetings with the president of the United States of America is a cup? Pause.
But vote for this cup, though. Made in Taiwan.
And this is why I don't play the both sides game, because this is what ended up happening when you have to do that. You should be able to call balls and strikes. You should be able to say that if people have less rights, or if they're going to talk about rounding up people on buses that might not be a good thing to endorse and make light of and call anything in opposition to that a cup. But please proceed, senor. It's a whole ass clown.
Vote for this cup. Everything will be fine after that. Hey. If you don't want Trump to run and win, vote for this cup, though.
So if you would like to know what he actually is looking for, let's slide it back a little bit. So I think this is where he tells us exactly what he's looking for. And this is how you know this is like low information voter corn.
You can turn any slogan or funny quote into a
low information corn.
Videos out here, guys. I'm gonna be real. There's videos out here on Twitter showing him just the year in this for years, y'all. This person has got to be an absolute 110% rock star, not just somebody who can just fill in, okay?
So he thinks Kamala Harris is just somebody that can fill in. And he wants a rock star. He needs a personality. And how we got into this bullshit in 2016. Is this your king?
That can color by numbers type of ish. We need somebody on the Democrat side that's going to hold it down and it's going to rock people's faces off. But we'll see what happens.
Child, I'm tired. All right. So now, would you like to see what it looks like when people of consciousness and intellect who come from diverse perspectives and opinions, when they have a discussion about this? Thank you again. I did reach out to the creator of the next video. He was very gracious with his time and his support. He allowed me up on his panel as well as all the other people that came. And this is what a discussion looks like when people do disagree, but they disagree from a standpoint of factual knowledge. So this is a little bit longer clip. This is about 15 minutes, so maybe 20. So just let's get started. And thank you again to the creator for sharing his space.
This could have been combated and better situated had we really understood the assignment from the beginning and really had a strong posture from the beginning. Is that not a fair? Is that not a fair assessment or critique?
Absolutely. I'm sorry, and I just wanted to also say, because see, here's the thing: what's going to happen with Kamala? It's the same thing that we did with Obama, because Obama was the first, what we're calling black, but he was actually the first Indian, East African, and Jewish white president anchored in Hawaii. So he's not Black American, but he was able to run off of race. What is happening with Kamala Harris? And I hope, I'm not trying to be offensive Black women, but I hope y'all don't fall for the same okie doke we did with Obama, because the representation, and that's what I keep hearing. What she said is, I'm not going to be like no other VP because simply she's a woman. That has nothing to do with transformative government. That has nothing to do with transformative politics. That's absolutely.
So when he said the thing about the Black woman, I had probably been in the chat about 15 minutes. I was doing something else, but it was on the background. It was just one of the many streams. And I was like, hold on, wait. It's okay. Hit dogs holler. All right. Here we go.
Don't do any of that. Same thing with Obama. He said all of these things or expected these things, but it was just transformative and representation. That's not policy. So I don't hold Kamala a fault because of her sex. Absolutely nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with the policy of what she did when she was a senator in state. So her being a woman does not make me see her any less. If she was a male VP that did the same thing, I'm still going to hold her feet to the goddamn fire. So your DNC failed all of us. This is your Democratic Party. This is what Shakasha's point. This was something that could have been avoided. This is something they did not allow us to vote for primaries. I'm sorry, we did vote. This is not something that was given to us as the people. It wasn't we the people so far as us on the left. It was what we were talking about earlier, your boule, your people of color politics. That's what she's running off. But that's not.
And see, that was the problem I had, because we did have a chance to have a say in the primary. And there were other people that were running. Now, is it a normal process to challenge your incumbent president? No, because usually your incumbent president wins like 8 out of 10 times. It's really hard to defeat an incumbent president. So people want to say they feel like they were misled about it, his health condition. That's why I said this is a game being played by media people. He'd been doing the job. However, he'd been doing it. Donald Trump did it from in front of a TV watching Fox News and eating cheeseburgers. We hired George W. Bush after he admitted to having, more candy up his nose than kids on Halloween. Like, bro, the job was getting done.
Not going to work for white America. It might work for white women, but you got to understand, even liberal white women have a white male patriarch-centered right. So there are things about policy that it only works for us, Black American descendant of slaves, this whole identity thing. They're not going to focus on that. That's why when Hillary ran, those white women in this country now, 60% of them voted against Trump. So voted for Trump. So I'm just saying, for Black women, for Black people, ADOS in general, we're institutionally brainwashed and propagandized to see representation as policy. Everything that she was talking about in policy didn't really affect the overwhelming majority collective. So that's the problem. This is the shared failure of the National Democratic Congress. There's no other ifs and buts about it. That's why we voted as ADOS, Democratic down ballot. Now, we're not going to do that this year. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to bite the bullet and vote whoever the fuck they put up there, even though I would love to vote Democratic down ballot to teach my party the lesson, to get the recognition to do what they do for people of color and everyone else. But neither here or there, that's what we're running into. We're hitting a wall because you have identity politics are not going to serve the country. I don't care that she's...
And I think the other thing that I felt kind of sensed about was, it's always identity politics when it comes to us. But when it's the people out there with like whole human beings on the front of their shirt, or shirts that say like Camp Auschwitz, like, are you crazy? That never gets called out as identity politics. That just gets called out as politics. And that's one of the things that I also had an issue with. But it was a good discussion. These are people that are actually took the time to like care.
A pimp of brown. It's her policy. Where's the anti-Project 2025? We've been seeing this in ADOS with different things they were doing on Chamber and the legislature. We've been seeing this, been trying to call it out, but we kept getting mooted from your boule from the DNC. So this is not something that...
And then he said the boule. I felt offended. Like, oh, really? Okay.
Just happened, y'all. It's been in the works for 8 years. And if we can do that...
I have a question. Hey, everybody on the panel. How you doing?
Hey.
I had a question. Do y'all think that she's still trying to do things behind the scenes so stuff can be put in place? So if she was elected in office, things would be a little bit better. You get what I'm saying? And not only that, I want to also add a second question. Now y'all see, why is it that Americans don't want to give a woman president a chance? We have done so much far as, giving the men a chance.
I want to put a pin in it super quick. All right, Rashonda, because I'm not sure if I'm convinced that America has a problem giving women the shot, because y'all got...
And I agree.
I remember, Hillary won the popular vote. She only lost to Trump because of the Electoral College. She won 3 million more popular votes than he did.
Again, these are people that actually took time to care about the actual numbers and facts, whether you agree with their opinions or freaking not some old vote for the clown.
So America largely, collectively, was ready to assert a woman.
You had white women on the left, though, who went right when it was Hillary. So that's what I'm saying. It's not a thing that I believe. It's not because she's a woman as it is the policy. That's one thing I'm really, 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 really stressing. I would love.
Which leads me back to the identity politics, whether it was a woman or not. Those women identified with as Obama was harangued repeatedly for God's, guns, and gays. Like, that's what it was.
If Kamala Harris was, regardless of her not being ADOS, if she was actually Black American anchored and her policies, why am I going to vote for someone center hard right on a liberal Democratic Party? It makes absolutely no sense. So that's like one of those things for Black, because it's not just Black. And one thing I want to debunk, right? I hear Black women say this all the time, and it's getting on my nerves. This whole thing about y'all voting.
Yeah, he was in his feelings about this. This was funny.
More than us, cut that shit out. You vote. We all vote at 80-90% percentile. This is facts. So no other group of people color does this. When the Cubanos vote, they don't say, "Oh, how come Hispanic men or Hispanic?" No, they vote 38% here, 62% here. It's really insulting to Black American voters who can vote. We are the ones voting the most. We vote more than all of the other men of color as a critical mass, meaning in one direction.
Low-key, he right. Facts bear that out. If y'all want to go into the actual election results, I got the FCC numbers. He's not lying.
So there isn't that much of a disaggregation, Black women, between us voting Democratic and you voting Democratic. What you're hearing is the conversation and part of the propaganda of the gender wars.
Which I cannot stand, but that's for a whole nother video.
Once again, Black Americans are institutionalized to see fucking entertainment and politics and see their gaze through brand ambassadorship instead of actual policy.
If Biden steps down, you will not overlook Kamala Harris because she is the next person in line. And they've been threatened. If you do that, guess what's going to happen? You will not get the vote. So you got to look at, you can't believe what the media is telling you, because the media is never telling you the truth. Okay, you got to use your common sense. You got to use your critical thinking, and you got to look at what this country is. America is a racist country, period. They don't care nothing about elderly, old people, children. They don't care. All they care about is power. You understand what I'm saying? During the
Agreed. That's the only damn thing them 1,500 rich people care about. Them billionaires and their millionaire boy toys, they only care about power, which is why they were able to roll a sitting president in 3 weeks. And if you think they can't come for Kamala Harris in 3 weeks, I'm just explaining it to you right now.
pandemic, most of the Congress people got rich in the stock market because they knew what was about to happen. There was no consequences for that at all. Inside traded all day long. So you can't just don't look at what the media is telling you, because they are not telling you the truth. The media is just as racist as Trump is. Okay, you got to use your critical thinking skills and look at why is it that for the last 3 weeks they've been bashing Biden, but they're not fighting against the opponent, who is Trump. They're not talking about his 34 convictions. They're not talking about any of that stuff, but they've been bashing Biden, saying he had to go without giving a replacement.
That was the point from Zerlina at the very beginning of this when we started this out. If you have been Joe must go, but you didn't help, you couldn't tell not only the process, but the person, you were playing for a billionaire or you were a millionaire boy toy. One of the two.
And now, just watch what's going to happen. Now they're talking about special elections and all that stuff. That's crazy. Why? She's the next person in line. They don't want Kamala Harris, point blank.
Well, it's not
they
that
don't want her.
But they just don't want her. I'm gonna give you some pushback. It ain't because she's black and all that stuff.
No. That's a big part of it.
It's not because it's not because she's a black woman. It's also this too. Because the DNC, which they have always done this, right? They always they have to put some form of white face represented in Congress, Senate, or government. Even because here's the thing, the left, I do agree, the left is also just as racist. The only difference is they hide it in policy and confront you with people of color instead of the red is not doing any negotiations. Everything that I look for how Kamala ran, did you see how she ran in her first race? She was ahead. When you look at her approval rate, when you look at the polls after, that's very rare when someone has that much of a head at the beginning of the polls, and then toward the end, you're almost at the end. They don't want her because they know she's not strong enough to pull the white vote.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. They didn't want her to begin with. They didn't even want her to be Joe's running mate to begin with. They never liked her from day one.
But I don't think it's necessarily also.
And that's going to be evidenced by the comment I'm getting ready to make next. They never wanted this girl.
Because
the 1,500, the billionaires that here in this America, yeah, they never wanted that girl.
Race, and that's the thing I do also understand by being in politics. Some things are different based off of citizenship and proximity. Kamala Harris, like I will stand correctly, they do not see her as an African American woman. As a matter of fact, the government is very clear in the difference between those of us who are calling ourselves African American, which is really ADOS, meaning that you were here before 1965 immigration. No, that's not true. The government and what you call white people completely knows the difference between a Jamaican and
voted for it old.
The only person he was old. 14 million.
Check the feed. It will already be. I'm never up here, but I did was listening. I'm never up here, but I did was listening to IG earlier, and I did have something to say about the quote unquote boule. I guess I might qualify as the boule. I'm a college educated woman. I got 2 degrees. I own a brick home. I guess with 2 cars in the garage. So I guess I'm boule. I've been a police cap. I block walk, I've organized, I've done postcards, so I guess I'm considered one of the people that he considers problematic.
Not that specifically, but go ahead.
So if that's the jacket I gotta wear to be up here, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? I can make it work. But my concern is not even so much about Joe and Kamala, but how we all got ridden into the ground by the billionaire class. Because my issue is with the 1,400 women who made the letter clear, with all the surveys that we've seen, with it not making a huge difference. Even when you went back into the swing state polls, there wasn't a significant change over the last 3 weeks, but we could not get old, tired, about to go to glory, go see my grandma, out the news. And if you don't think that the same forces that unleashed a tidal wave on that old man, which is technically quote unquote one of them, but we're gonna leave that aside, they are going to unleash Maggie Haberman, Politico, NYT. They got 3 weeks to do the same thing to hit to her, what they did to him, and they're gonna make sure that girl. They are going to make short work of that girl. Maggie Haberman has her pieces tight. I guarantee you, if you got an NYT subscription tomorrow, check the feed. Check the feed. It's probably up today. It will already be up there. Because if you remember during the first year of the administration, there were 1,000 pieces that came out from these same trashy places, Axios included. Her staff hates her. She's mean. She's difficult to work with. She doesn't have anything to do. And I remember a vice president who couldn't smell freaking potato correctly in front of children.
Oh my.
I love y'all. I got to finish working on my live for the Marcus Honey. I got the FCC reports out and pull it down so we can break down these numbers. So I wasn't lying. I told you I was coming. I was busy. I was going with chat. I had the phone going. Like, it was a lie. I was being honest. Oh, yeah, we had a discussion about that a little bit later. But I'm going to finish this little part up so we can do the end.
It's not because she's no. It's not because she's a black woman. It's
voted for. It all.
They didn't want to pick up that adult diaper that was probably full on that stage in Pennsylvania, and that's why they college educated woman. I got 2 degrees. I own a brick home. Check the fee. It will already be up there because if you remember, during the first year of the administration, there was 1,000 pieces that came out from these same trashy places, Axios included. Her staff hates her. She's mean. She's difficult to work with. She doesn't have anything to do. And I remember a vice president who couldn't smell freaking potato correctly in front of children.
Oh my!
I love y'all. I got to finish working on my live for the Marcus Honey. I got the FCC reports I done pulled down so we can break down these numbers about incumbency. I got all the analysis on what Citizens United has been doing for the last 10 years, $2.9 billion. Imagine if that wasn't ad money going to the same 1,500 billionaires that is playing vote that man with that adult diaper that them Secret Service people didn't want to pick up in Pennsylvania. That's why the women were struggling. Women were strong. They didn't want to pick up that adult diaper that was probably full on that stage in Pennsylvania. And that's why they down the steps. Like I said, I'm used to it, baby. I'm going to go back to work.
Okay, hold on, man. Hold on. You just unloaded, sis. Hold on now. Hold on. Because first, I want you to tell the folks where they can find you.
Again, thank you to Conscious TV for hosting the discussion. Like I said, everybody had different viewpoints up there. I was hot. And yeah, that's how I feel about that man. That man was on that stage and them girls were struggling because it stank on that stage. It was hot outside, whatever.
And then I want IG to respond to that. And I want you to see what you feel about his response to what you said. Where can they find you at on social media?
Hey, I'm community coach. Nah, that was me making a joke about the fact that after the incident on Saturday in Pennsylvania with the assassination attempt, if you actually see them trying to get, first he goes down behind the podium and then you see him do a little fist bump, whatever. And then you get to the steps and you see them trying to like struggle to pick him up to get him down the steps or whatever. Yeah, that was my joke as to why they were struggling with the former president at the rally where he almost got his ear, Mike Tyson. We don't do gossip, we do growth, and I cover politics in the South. Thank you so much.
I appreciate that, babe. I'm definitely gonna check you out.
Baby, we got the baddest bitches over here on the Conscious Crew. So
you know what, Conscious, I usually disagree with everything you say, but I watch all the time because I find you so entertaining, and I actually love the fact that you stand in your truth.
Over here.
Which is actually true. Like a lot of times when I have it on in the background when I'm working from home, I'm like, that's crazy. Boy, stop. This is stupid. But you know, people have the right to have their opinions. I just don't want your opinion to be based on a cup, dumbass.
You got to. I love that. So IG, you just
because I'm looking at some of those same reports we looked at Adolf. It's kind of like, because here's the thing. I don't think you necessarily boulay sister because of your class. It's how you wield policy and your proximity to whiteness that makes you boulay. So you know what I'm saying? I don't want you to think because you're connected to a certain class that you're automatically boulay. No, because we would have had a lot of things we had from immigration and through civil rights. Howard University, right, was built because of a biracial child and wanting to build an institution for higher learning. So I'm not trying to view that as that. However, though, that is a thing that when you have a certain class of Black folks that are disconnected from the overwhelming majority that have the exception to the rule, that when they're in faces of policy, okay, for a woman that you got to look at it from this perspective, not got to. If you're of a certain class, for you, not the working class from the Black American, the representation thing makes a big of a deal for you. Those of us who are on the ground, that's not going to really affect us. And like a lot of the policies to the left, so far as taxes, still kind of only benefit certain people that's upper middle class. So that's why for me, when I say that, yes, most of the people who are HBCUs are boulay, it is, but it isn't because of their status.
That man is killing me. That man just called out my school and everything. You know, prayer. And like, mine. Oh, this man is shooting shit straight across my head. I'm a good person. I literally retired after 20 years of teaching and opened a whole tutoring center. And that man is steady firing shots across the brow. No, I love you, family. You know, it's always a discussion. Like playing dominoes. You know, we sit around and
I love it, baby. I love it. But that's the thing too, is that I am not going to go.
Oh, you know, I ain't gonna ever let nobody step on my HBCU, but I'm locked and loaded all the time. Don't ever come for my HBCU. But, you know, we also, like I said, it's like a domino table. You gotta be able to talk your thing and stand in your thing. Like, stand in the tide. Don't get scared. If you get scared, get up.
Again, I'm still looking at it from now and election, there is a lot of things that you did within the DNC itself where I'm looking like, okay, that's people of color. Okay, that's class over here. Okay, but it's not, it's a lot of lip service and representation. And I kind of feel like Black women are, and it's not fair, but it's kind of like y'all falling for the same okie doke we did with Obama. Oh, it's a wrong person. So therefore, I'm going to vicariously see myself as we've been trained to do as ADOS, to vicariously see ourselves through anything with melanin entertainment. I definitely agree with some of those same FCC reports I have seen, and I've seen a lot of blockage that has come from the right now. I can't sit up here and pretend, right, that there was, but there was too many spaces, just like with the candidacy, with the debate, where the DNC didn't take that moment and politicize that, put that out there, but they didn't do that. And that tells me they didn't do that because they were counting to run on Trump is just so bad that you are going to vote inadvertently. And that's a piss poor politics. I don't care what party it is. That is something that your DNC has heavily failed us.
And I will agree with that because I'm a person who believes in policy and not personality. So that is why we have permanent interests and not permanent allies. When my granny, who just made transition at 94.
I'm HBCU too, graduate St. Philip, San Antonio. So I'm HBCU. It's a community college, baby. It ain't the upscale, but it's the HBCU. You heard me.
Family is family. We are all family. But I just wanted to make that point. But like I said, I love the panels. Like I say, Conscious, I'm always here to support you. And
you're gonna be tuned in tomorrow. You're going live tomorrow, right?
Yes, at 7:30 in the morning, we'll be breaking down how the billionaires have managed to do it again. And as far as I'm concerned, if they want us to continue to making these calls, block walking, they want us to continue to volunteer while they take in campaign contributions from citizens and then turn around and give it to corporate media and flyers and t-shirts. When you could have been paying people to go out and knock on doors versus asking them to give up their labor. Heck no. Give us campaign finance reform or buy you some land and try to survive 2025. That's what's going down. Because we can't keep playing this game. You know, we did it in 1868 from 1878. We rode with the people who brought us. And what did those people do? They sold us out in Hayden Field and it took us 100 damn years to find a new group of people to ride with. Fine. What did they turn around and do? They sold us out. We are done.
Yeah.
Done. I love y'all.
Wow. I love you too, boo.
So again, I'd like to thank Conscious TV for being so generous with his time. So I'm going to go ahead on and wrap this up right quick. When I told him that I don't have permanent interests, I only have no permanent allies, just permanent interests. Here's a quick quote from James Baldwin. And this is a book by Eddie Glaude. He's a Princeton University professor. And it says, not that the world was willing to look. In No Name in the Street, a jangly, intermittently brilliant book from 1972. He's the most important work on social criticism. Baldwin describes how white liberals couldn't bring themselves to accept even the most glaring evidence of police brutality. 72, you say? Okay. To them, racism and bigotry were a matter of hearts and minds. Still having that discussion, you say? They maintained an abiding faith in institutions and insisted the police were honorable and the courts were just. The fantasy of innocence was both childish and deadly. And as he told them, the idea isn't to return the country to what it was before President Trump. Claude wants a wholesale re-envisioning, not a complicit restoration. As Baldwin put it in 1980 before Reagan won the presidential election, explaining the decision to vote for a disappointing Jimmy Carter. It will be a cold, calculated risk, a means of buying time. So I thank you to everybody who was able to join me today for the live. I really do appreciate it. We are going to have a part 2 in talking about what happens next, but I'm going to go ahead on and get ready to end the live because I am going to take my dad to the doctor. So as I always tell you, every time you get a chance to spend a little time with me, thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope blessings chase you down. I hope trouble never finds your door. You have power and purpose within you, so level up. The community needs you. Clearly, there are lots of hurting people out there, child, everywhere. So if you get a chance to be kind to them, please do. And thank you to my mod, Miss Linda, the hardest working mod in the business. Thank you to all the supporters that came through. Love you so much, Cotillion Queen, Critical Smoker. Thank you. Melanie, sis, always shows up. I appreciate it so much. To everybody who got a chance to come through this morning, make it a marvelous Monday, family.